Okay, so in my last video, I said that what I saw was a lot of people on YouTube who were talking about spiritual awakening who were young people. What is young people to me? Let's say people 30 and under. So I'm going to do a video for people who are over 30, and especially people that are over 50, because that's what I am. I'm one of those people. And rather than tell you to go and watch some young person under 30 who had a spiritual awakening, I'm going to talk to you, older people. Is your awakening going to be different than the younger people? Yes, it's going to be significantly different than people who are, say, under 30. Why? Because you've lived a long time without having been spiritually awakened. The young people, I just heard one person said they had their spiritual awakening at 21 years of age. I'm more than double that age. And people that are watching this, they might be triple that age. You might be 63 years old or more, and you have your spiritual awakening. And listening to some young twerp of 21 years old, you're probably going to be uncomfortable, and you're probably going to say, you don't understand what it's like, because they don't. They haven't lived an enormously long life and then have everything change. So they just don't have the history of what the world's been like all this time. They haven't had the school of hard knocks. They're just so much different. Is it easier for them? It's so much easier. They're just so bright. Everyone knows that even back in our old days, when you're young, you're just bright-eyed. But these ones, when they're awakened to a spiritual reality at a very young age, they don't have the baggage. They never had the baggage that we had. You know, they might have had like one serious job in their life. It's way easier for them. They don't have the baggage. Don't have the baggage. It's just so much easier. And young people are so much more non-judgmental. That's probably the biggest difference. Someone in a young age group, their friends are non-judgmental. Whereas people who are the older generations, great amounts of judgment. Everyone judges you. And in our age group, we are automatically going to say to people who are thinking they're having a spiritual awakening, we're going to say, are you okay? Are you okay? I don't think you're okay. I don't think you're okay. I know you're not okay. You're not okay. You need to seek help. You need to go to your doctor tomorrow, and you need to go and see a psychiatrist. You need to get on antidepressants. You need to get on whatever they got. You got to get on these things. You're not okay. And if you don't get on these things and don't do that, we're going to have an intervention on you. Because all the people my age have watched these TV shows about interventions for alcoholics, pretty much for alcoholics, drug abusers. And so that's what they're automatically going to jump to. In other words, what's going on in these people is they're scared, because people our age are driven by unconscious fear. Sometimes it's conscious fear, but most of the fear in older people is unconscious fear. In other words, you're talking and it's coming out of you, but you don't know what the motivation is for people. And, it comes about because people who lived in alcoholic families, it's a lot of this kind of thing has come out over the years. In previous generations to even me and my parents, who are in their 80s, previous generations, alcoholism was not treated as a disease. If somebody was down and out, they went to Skid Row, and it was horrible. But it wasn't treated as a disease; it was treated as a moral failure. So somebody who was a bad alcoholic, they would say, maybe you need to go and see your minister or your priest or something, or they're just bad. They're just bad apples. And so, if people who are older have these spiritual awakenings, the people in their social group are going to have enormous judgment, and they are going to make you feel very uncomfortable. And it's because of their inner fear. Because somewhere deep inside their consciousness, there's fear more than anything. And what is the fear? It's the fear that they've had their whole life. Suppressed fear. We're going to put on a mask and we're going to live pretending to be okay. But everyone in the older generations is not okay in some way deep inside. Not okay. But they've buried it and they put armor plate over it. The fear is there, but people are not in touch with the fear. And if you say, you've got unconscious fear or subconscious fear, they're going to say, no, I don't. Don't be a dick. I'm perfectly in control of myself. So it's way harder when you're an older person, when people in your circle, and your circle is not as big as someone who's 21 years old. If you're 21 years old, you are far more social, and you're constantly meeting new people. You're still probably in touch with people from your high school, your college, if you went to college, your community. But older people, people that they knew from all those years ago, they've all moved on. A lot of people have moved towns and they're just not there. So older people, their circle of people that I'm not going to say really trust, but the people that are the closest thing to people that they trust, that they might confide in, it's a much smaller circle. So the people are not going to be open to it, and the people are going to make you feel don't feel too good about this, talking to other people about it, because you have a great still fear of judgment. And, if I lose these friends, then I ain't going to have anybody. If I tell my significant other, we're going to have major problems in our relationship. And you will. You will, because if they are not on the same path as you, it's not going to go very well at all. And from what I've heard, a lot of times people, even the younger people, when they have these kind of spiritual awakenings, it usually leads to an abrupt end in their significant relationships. So, that's just going to add to the fear. What are you going to do about it? Well, you're going to do what you're going to do about it. And it's going to be a big wrench in all of your affairs. Nevertheless, if your spiritual awakening comes, some people might go to their doctor and get a bunch of prescription pills and think that they're going to be okay. No, the prescription pills don't work because you don't have a disease. People say, well, I need it for my anxiety because I've got anxiety. No. You've got stuff that needs to be processed. It's subconscious or unconscious stuff that's got to come up and become conscious, and you're going to have to process it. And what does it mean to process it? It means to become aware of it. Number one thing is you're going to become aware of a lot of things that are not conscious in your mind right now. And there is so much of it because you've had a lifetime. There's so much stuff. You might have 50 years or 65 years of stuff that's got to come up because it was all buried away. And when it first comes up, it's going to be very heavy stuff. Heavy, heavy, heavy baggage. It's going to be like, it's just baggage. It's like if you're going on a trip and you're carrying 4 pieces of luggage and you've got a big trunk and you can't move it all yourself. There's so much baggage. You're going to have to get people to help you move your baggage. And all of that baggage, pretty much you're going to have to get rid of every last bag and the whole trunk of stuff. You're going to have to lighten your load. And all of this baggage stuff, it's making you old. It's making you sick. It's making you old. It's making you sick. Because it's baggage and it's not you. It's just stuff that you didn't process when you were younger because you couldn't. Because you weren't awake. And no one did. No one your age did it. Because you couldn't do it and no one even knew it was there. But if you feel old and tired, it's because you're dragging a wagon of baggage with you. So you wake up and then what happens? Well, I knew somebody who was early 60s and her husband died. And she had enormous baggage and she had enormous grief. And what she did is she signed up to go on a retreat. It was a 2-week retreat. And on this retreat, there was a great deal of massage. She got a massage every day for 2 weeks. And the massage was an hour and a half long every day. And after 2 weeks, she had dropped the baggage. She had processed the grief of her husband's death, and she looked radiant. She looked way younger. Way younger. It was like she drank the fountain of youth. So, if you think you're having a spiritual awakening and you're an older person, some people say, a Kundalini awakening. That's especially if somebody who's been in sort of the yoga groups. I'm going to suggest that the first thing you do is you look around to see where you can go, where you can get away from all of your work and your family and your friends, and you go to some of these kind of retreats where you can get a lot of massages, a massage a day for an hour and a half. Another possibility is you might like to go to a Vipassana meditation retreat. Is it Vipassana or Vipassana? I don't know. But I read a story recently about somebody who was also having a spiritual awakening, and that's where they went. And it was a crash course in meditation. And they had all kinds of things going on with them in their body and in their mind. And the meditation teachers were the perfect people for them. It was the perfect place. And a Vipassana retreat is free. So if you don't have any money to go to Hawaii, you can look up Vipassana and you can go there for free. The way it works is you go for free and it's a pay it forward thing. So if you do have money, you're encouraged to donate to the retreat center so that they can sponsor. It's not really a sponsorship because it's basically everybody gets to go for free, but to keep the place going. So for the next people to come in to go for free, that's what they want people to go. They don't want to make money a barrier to people. So if you're in that situation and you don't have money to go on a trip to Hawaii, because that's where I went and that's where this lady I'm talking about went, and we got Lomi Hawaiian massage every day, and we learned to do the massage at the same time, and that was fantastic. But if that's not in your budget, then there's the free one. So go and deal with your body and your mind. Because when we went to Hawaii, how did we deal with our mind? It's mostly getting out of your mind, because when you're getting an hour and a half of massage, you're in your body, because you can't not be in your body because your body is getting deep massage. And the meditation place, I don't think they give you a massage, but they're going to make you sit there all day long and meditate. And you need this kind of thing. And then what? Well, if you can do that, get your retreat out of the way, you'll have processed a lot of stuff. And you'll be used to going on a retreat when you feel like, I can't handle it anymore. You'll know, okay, well, last time I felt this way, I went on a retreat for 2 weeks or something. I mean, you probably can't go on retreat forever, but it'll give you a head start, and it'll put you in touch with people who are older, who are going through the same thing as you. So you'll have some new contacts. I mean, they might live across the country, but that's no big deal. You'll have them on your list of people who are going through things like you. So you'll have a support group, people that you will get to know when you're on retreat. I mean, I can imagine if you're at the Vipassana, and haven't been myself, but I can imagine, because you're sitting there all day, you're not talking. But perhaps at the end of your time there, you'll know people because they were sitting with you the whole time. And, at the end of the time, you might say, I saw you the whole time we were there and we didn't talk, but, I'm going my way and you're going your way. And, I'd like to, add you to my friends list, because I'd still like to be in touch with people who have gone through this. What do you think? And they're probably thinking the same thing.